everyone. Welcome to the Dog Mom Knits podcast, episode 14. My name is Amanda, and I'm coming to you from coastal Virginia, where I live with my husband, Sean, and our 3 dogs, Bandit, Copper, and Finley. You can find me on Instagram as Dog Mom Knits, on Ravelry as Dog Mom Knits 08, and we do have an email address for this podcast, and that is dogmomknits@gmail.com. This is a knitting podcast, so I'll talk all about my crafty knitting adventures, and there's a lot. This episode is going to be entitled Team Chaos. I stole that term from Lindsay of Sock Witchery. If you guys could see the projects that were down here at my feet. Team Chaos. More about that later. So, it is August 9th. I do actually know the date. If you watched last time, I couldn't remember what date it was because I'm a teacher on summer vacation. I don't have to know what day it is. But yesterday was my birthday, August 8th. So I know that today is August 9th because it's the day after my birthday. I'm going to talk some Dog Mom Knits news. And then we're going to do finished objects, Team Chaos, which is going to also include future plans. I only have 2 acquisitions. Who am I? 2. What? That's crazy. That's chaos. And then life. And we'll be done. So, Dog Mom Knits news. Last week, I published 7 videos, I think it ended up being, which was my how to knit a dishcloth tutorial. I posted a video on how to cast on, how to knit, how to read and knit a pattern, how to bind off, how to weave in ends, how to purl, and then a yarn over knit 2 together video. My husband, who is the guy who sews here on YouTube, he is a sewist. I think that's the correct term. Sewer, sewist, quilter. He works with sewing machines. His sewing community has been asking me to teach them how to knit. And so I was like, okay, well, the easiest thing that I know to teach people to knit is a dishcloth. So I wrote up a couple of patterns and made the videos, and they seem to be working. People like them, so that's amazing. Makes me happy. But I ended up with 3 versions of a dishcloth in the pattern that is connected to those YouTube tutorials, like linked below the YouTube tutorials. I also uploaded it to Ravelry and Lovecrafts if you're interested. So if you go to my Ravelry storefront or my Lovecrafts designer area, I think is what they call it, you'll see the pattern. But I made so as part of that tutorial series, I made a garter stitch dishcloth. This is the first pattern in the how to knit a dishcloth series. This is out of Knit Picks Dishy in Pebble. The second pattern, which was connected to the how to purl video, was the stockinette stitch dishcloth. And this is Knit Picks Dishy Summer Jams. I love this. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And then the last pattern was, I included a copy of Grandma's Favorite Dishcloth, which is everywhere online, but I linked to where I got it from. And this is what I knit with the video showing how to yarn over and knit 2 together. And this is Knit Picks Dishy Aquarium. So I have 3 dishcloths that I knit as part of that tutorial. All 3 of these are going to go in our exchange student's bathroom so that she can use these in the shower, to wash her face, whatever she wants. But yeah, I am also a huge fan of Knit Picks Dishy. I was never a huge fan of sugar and cream, not gonna lie. peaches and cream, sugar and cream, whatever it's called. I was never a huge fan of that yarn. I thought like, oh, 100% cotton. It's all like, excuse me, it's all like that. So it's all annoying. This Knit Picks Dishy. Oh my gosh. It's 100% cotton, worsted weight yarn. Feels totally different. Love it. And I have more than enough that if I want like a quick mindless project on a weekend, I could easily cast one of these on and have it. I had all of these done in a day. So yes. So those tutorials are up. Sorry, I'm going to take a drink of water. Those tutorials are up. Those finished objects are ready to ship to go into Daria's bathroom. And that's what's been going on kind of behind the scenes here at Dog Mom Knits World. I will say, if you are a returning viewer, I am in a different place. Typically, I podcast over there in front of my fireplace, which is right next to our sliding glass door. But yeah, the sun is like intense today, and it was causing this massive glare in my camera. So I shifted over here in front of my yarn stash to get away from the glare. But I don't know. I kind of like it over here. Spice it up. Keep it different. I don't know. Right now, 3 by the Sea Designs and I are hosting a knit along. We are calling it the Seashells KAL2020. No, I'm sorry. The Seashells KAL22 knit along. The idea is that you can knit my seashells on the seashore pattern, which this is one of the options for how to knit it. It's a choose your own adventure pattern. That's what I called it. And you have 3 options when you knit the socks, when you get the pattern. So you can knit a pair of socks using my pattern, or knit a pair of socks or anything out of the She Sells Seashells yarn from 3 by the Sea. There is an FO thread on my Ravelry group, which is linked down below, a chatter thread in my Ravelry group, and you can use the hashtag Seashells KAL22 on Instagram. We are pulling prizes for all 3 in all 3 places. The knit along goes until September 5th, which is Labor Day, and quite a few people are already like done or pretty much done with their first sock. So still more than enough time for you to get involved in this knit along if you are interested. We, 3 by the Sea and I, are going to go live on Instagram August 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern. And on YouTube, August 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern on this YouTube channel, on the Dog Mom Knits YouTube channel. So if you would like to join us for either of those, I will have all of that information linked down below. And my Ravelry group. Don't forget to use the hashtag on Instagram. But yes, and please, if you knit this, or if you're participating in the knit along, please tag 3 by the Sea and I in your posts. I absolutely love seeing them. So I am going to take a page out of Kristen of Do So Knits podcast, and I am going to put some screenshots of some of the projects from the knit along in here so that you can see them. Enjoy. So beautiful, right? such talented knitters, such an amazing community over there on Instagram and on Ravelry. So please, please, please join us if you haven't already. Do you guys hear Finley cheering you on? She's like, do it. Knit your socks. She's a good little cheerleader. Yep, and that was Copper saying, you can do it. Oh my goodness. So I am sorry. I'm looking down at my notes because I feel a little scatterbrained today. I don't know what's going on. And I feel like I need to keep looking down at my notes to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything, even though I feel like I'm still forgetting everything. Okay. That's all the housekeeping Dog Mom Knits news. So let's move on to finished objects. So the first finished object I have, you did not even see as a whip. You heard about it if you watched the last podcast, that this was a future cast on that I was really excited for because I'm in the Love and Stitches membership and we are doing an accessories make along. July was socks. August is for your hands, so gloves or fingerless mitts, and September is shawls. So I had the plan to knit the Tinsel Mitts by Andrea Mowry. And in that pattern, there are options. I chose the convertible mitts and I finished them. Finished them. They went so fast. So this is knit out of Rags Fiber Arts Alta, A-L-T-A, Alta DK. I love these so much. And I put a button right there that is not called for in the pattern, but I did that so that I can put a little piece of elastic here so that when I'm wearing them as fingerless mitts, the convertible little part doesn't flop around. But this is what they look like on, or what the left one looks like on. And then just pull up the little top. This is my first ever pair of gloves. I don't know why I thought they were so hard. Everybody kept saying, but they're just like a sock. They're just basically a sock for your hand. Yes. If you ever told me that and I rolled my eyes at you, I apologize. You were right. But I absolutely love them. They fit perfect. I did not swatch. Do a gauge swatch. I just kind of started and figured if it didn't work, I'd rip it out. But I knit everything to pattern based on what she called for, the same stitch count, the same needle size, all of it. And just tried it on as she suggested and ended up with this beautiful, absolutely beautiful pair of convertible mitts. And I am so excited. I have wanted a pair of convertible mitts for years and wouldn't buy them because I was like, no, I'm going to knit them. And then just now actually got around to doing it. So these are ready for winter. So excited. I mean, I'm always ready for it to be cold, but I'm really ready now because now I want to wear my gloves. I do have water in my cup that I showed you guys last time. Super thirsty today. Not sure what's going on there. My only other finished object, sorry, I had to get the second one, is my July Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. So I was pretty much done with these during the last podcast, but I did finish them and wanted to show them off. So this is the Queen's Hats by Desert Vista Dyeworks. And I'll show the pattern on this one because it's not on a sock blocker. But the pattern that I used is one of mine. It is my road trip socks, which you can find on Ravelry and Lovecrafts. And it just creates this really fun spiral. I'm really, really happy to have these done. I got this yarn on Desert Vista Dyeworks ZN base. So it is the glitter base, which I just thought was really fun. So you'll see my August ones in the whips that yeah, in the chaos, in Team Chaos section, you'll see all the things. So those are the only 2 FOs so far this month, because Team Chaos. During Sock Week, which is a knit along hosted by Knitty Natty, she did an interview with Boston Jen. She's Boston Jen 1 on YouTube, or excuse me, on Instagram, and she's the host of the Downseller podcast. And she talked about how she kind of pre-plans her knitting projects so that she always has a project at the mindless stage for when she is going to work, or when she's going to a movie, or when she's traveling, or whatever. And that got my, like, the wheels spinning, because my summer vacation ends Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. I'm a teacher. If you're new, I love my job. I love my school. I love my summer vacation. So I'm back to school on Tuesday, and I was thinking about all the projects that I wanted to cast on and all the things I wanted to get done. And I was like replaying some of what I heard Natalie and Jen talking about during that interview. And I was like, I'm going to cast on, like, I'm going to have a winding party. I'm going to wind a bunch of yarn. I'm going to cast on everything I want to do and get all of it, or as much of it as I can, to its mindless stage, so that when I get home from school and my brain is tired, all I have to do is pick anything out of the current whips basket, and it'll be at a place where I can just go. So that's how I ended up going from like 1 thing cast on to like 8. But it's okay, because I have no expectation of these things being finished. Like, I'm not working on all of them right now. It's more just kind of getting myself ready so I have that mindless knitting once school starts. So, my first project that is at mindless knitting stage is in my sweater size bag from the Guy Who Sews, which is my husband. This is my lounging tee by Hoki Locatelli. Hold on, I got a little stuck trying to get it out of the bag. I showed this last time. I'm not too much further along than I was the last time because I've been casting on and doing all the things, but I am a little bit further. It is in just the knit a ton in the round as I knit the body. So this is really good, just mindless knitting now. So I'm knitting this out of Elsbeth Lavold Silky Wool in the color Tangelo. Tangelo? Actually, don't know how to pronounce that. But again, this is now at just knit, knit, knit. If my hands hurt a little bit from knitting all of the small needled things, this is on size 7s. So that is a good option, because I have noticed that I've been knitting a lot of socks and things on really small needles, and sometimes my hands just need a break and some larger needles. So there's option number 1. The second thing I went ahead and cast on and got to mindless stage is a Musselburgh hat. This is a pattern by Isolde Teague. I am using the We Share Needles set from Kimber's Cozy Creations. This colorway, I have 50 grams of Maddie's colorway, which is Movie Knitting. And I have 50 grams of Kristen's colorway, which is Whip It Out. And I got through the increases. So this is now at just knit all the way down. And I don't have to even think about it or worry about it. It's, you know, this is what's going to go with me to meetings. This is what's going to go with me on the big trip that the school takes in September, because I can knit 3 stitches and stop if I get interrupted, and I'm not going to be in the middle of a round or in an odd stopping place, because I'm just knitting around and around and around and around. So I did start with Kristen's colorway, which is Whip It Out. I cannot oh no, I'm sorry. This is Maddie's colorway, Movie Knitting. I cannot show you Whip It Out because Finley got to it. So Sean is still attempting to undo that. We think he's at like hour 5 or 6, trying to unknot that yarn. She's bad, y'all. She thinks she can knit and she can't. I put this in my bag from Lone Larch Designs. I love it. It's a zippered bag. So I thought if this is one of the ones that's going to be like on the go with me, I liked the idea of the zipper. It's got kind of more structure. So this will be really nice as I travel with it, to be able to take that around. One of the other, okay, I'll hold that one. This project is in a bag from 3 by the Sea Designs, and it has all of my summer sock camp pins on it, which is a make along hosted by the Crazy Sock Lady. In this bag, I have started, oh, and apparently I'm in the middle of a row. Really, Amanda? I have started one of the gift projects that I am knitting or had planned to knit. This is a pair of socks for one of my coworkers, or will be a pair of socks. It is knit out of Ginger Snap yarn in their colorway Work Pants. My goal is to get through the cuff before school starts, and then this is going to be a combination of the Magic Heel socks by the Autumn Acorn and the Stack of Books socks by Sock Witchery. So if you saw the socks that I knit for our foreign exchange student, out of the Zebra Yarns red, white, and blue colorway, it's going to be very similar to that process. But as I go through it, I will make all kinds of notes on my Ravelry project page. So this needs work before school starts so that I can get through the cuff and just be on the leg. This project, which is in a bag from Mountain State Stitches, is not cast on yet. I've just wound the yarn and gathered up my notions. This is Legacy Fiber Arts. I cannot remember the colorway. I bought this in D-Stash and I've talked about it on the podcast before. This is going to be a gift knit for my teacher's assistant from last year. I am doing the same thing as my Ginger Snap yarn. So it's going to be a combination of the Stack of Books pattern by Sock Witchery and the Magic Heel socks from Autumn Acorn. This is another one that before school starts, I would like to have the cuff of the first sock done so that I can just go through. I hate knitting cuffs because I don't like knitting ribbing. So if I can get the socks through the cuffs, I'm more inclined to pick them up and actually knit them. The chaos that is my brain sometimes. The other pair of socks, I have 2 more pairs of socks. These 2 are deadline socks. So those are all like, get them to the mindless stage and then just knit on them whenever. These 2, the last 2 pairs of socks that are active whips are much more urgent active whips. I actually would like both of these socks to be finished by the time I go back to school on, sorry, I needed to grab the other project bag, before I go back to school on Tuesday. That will be a push to get them done, but maybe I'll be able to do it. I don't know. The first of my kind of deadline knitting is in my Scaredy Cats bag from the Guy Who Sews, which is my husband. This is what I have been using for my Desert Vista Dyeworks socks every month. My yarn for this month for Desert Vista Dyeworks is 1949 M&Ms. And I am knitting the Crunkled Socks by Kay Jones. And this is my first time knitting this pattern. I saw it on Kristen of Do So Knits podcast and loved it in this self-striping. And yesterday, like I said earlier, was my birthday. And I was like, I'm going to cast on my Desert Vista Dyeworks socks and I'm going to try a new pattern. Kind of like my birthday cast on. I kind of do that every year. And I was like, I'm going to try that pair of socks. And this, I knit all of this in one day. I knit all of this yesterday. Actually, yesterday after 4:30 in the afternoon. So it went really, really fast. I'm in the 5th repeat. That is, I'm going to stop there. It's a 12 row repeat. So I'm doing 5 repeats on the leg. I'm going to do a modification of the pattern and do the OMG heel because that is my new favorite. I need all of my socks to be the OMG heel from now on. It's awesome. And then knit the foot and then sock number 2. So this is the first of kind of the deadline whips that I would really like to have this done by the time school starts. The other sock whip that I would really like to have done, well, I kind of need to have done by the time school starts, is what will be my next pattern. So I went to Pittsburgh last year with my best friend, Jen, and we went to we kind of did our own Steel Valley yarn crawl, which is the yarn crawl in Pittsburgh. We were a week early, so I just figured out which shops were in the Steel Valley yarn crawl, and we just did them a week early. And we went to Sewickley Yarns, and I found this amazing sock set. So it is this cake, or this skein, which is called a Little Corny, because it looks like candy corn. And then it had an orange mini. This yarn is linked on my project page because I have no idea how to pronounce the yarn company name. It's one of the rivers that's up there in Pittsburgh, and I will butcher it if I attempt to pronounce it. So I'm not. I had this cast on. I had knit almost the entire leg of one of the socks, and I was bored because I was just using the mini for heels, toes, and cuffs. And, you know, I was like, I could do something different with that. And so I went and found a lace repeat, a lace pattern that I fell in love with. And I was like, I could knit that in the mini and then knit the rest of the sock in the main color. And that would be a different way to use a mini skein and a full skein. So these socks I am calling right now my It's Fall, y'all socks. I love it. Let me see if I can get it on a sock blocker so that it will show off this lace. Let's see what that does. Does that stretch that lace out a little bit? Yep, there you go. So beautiful. I love this pattern so much. So I am working on typing up this pattern now. I need to finish both socks. I have it through the heel of one of the socks. And then what I did so that I wasn't trying to remember the lace, I already knit the cuff of the other one and the lace panel of the other one, because you cut your, like, you switch back to your main color. So I was cutting the yarn anyway. And I was like, well, I might as well just go ahead and knit the other one while the lace panel is still fresh in my head. And then when I type it up, I've done it a few times and I can make sure that my numbers are right. So I need to finish these socks, get the pattern ready to go. I will be putting out a tester call for this pattern next week around August 17th. I'm going to give my testers a month to knit the pair of socks. And my hope is that this pattern will be ready to go on September 21st. I'm pretty sure that's right, which is the first day of fall. So stay on the lookout for more information. Follow me on Instagram. That's where most of this information will be published and updated. But this is the second kind of deadline whip, because I would like to have both socks finished before I ask for testers and before I send the pattern out for testing. So there's that. Oh, this is in a bag by the guy who sews, my husband. I have my Crazy Sock Lady pin, my Hufflepuff pin, because I am a proud badger, and then another just fun little hedgehog heart pin. So, Team Chaos. I'm very excited about having all of these projects in kind of their mindless stage so that I can come home from school, make dinner, and while Daria and I are, my foreign exchange student and I are hanging out in the evenings, I have something mindless that I can knit. If we go to a museum or we go to one of the historical places in the area, I have something that I can grab that's going to be really easy and really in just its mindless stage. And all I have to do is just sit and knit. So I'm excited. I'm a little overwhelmed looking at all of these things that I have cast on, or will be casting on. But knowing that, like, there's a plan for them and they're not just getting cast on and added to the WIPs pile, but cast on with intention. I have kind of in my head due dates of when I would like to have them done, or most of them. So I keep telling myself there's a plan. There is a plan. It is not just mindless or without thought cast on all the things. So I'm going to talk about my 2 acquisitions. I still can't believe I only have 2. I'm going to have to reach out of camera to get them because they fell. My first acquisition is my August Yarnable box. This is a subscription box by Hypnotic Yarns. This will be my last Yarnable box for the foreseeable future. This bin right here barely closes because it is full of sock yarn. This bin is fingering weight yarn and completely full. And then these down here are the heavier weights and full. I need to knit my stash. I cannot keep taking in more yarn and not doing anything with it. It is starting to stress me out. So I'm going to stop Yarnable for a while. Maybe I'll subscribe again in the future, but for right now, it's time to knit from stash. So the Yarnable box this month was themed, it was straighten your crown. And so one of the things we got was popsicle soap. This is from the Grecklin Sock sorry, the Grecklin Soap Company. It's goat's milk soap pineapple. So I will be putting this in Daria's bathroom so that she can use it. I'm not a huge fan of pineapple. I think I'm allergic to it, so. It also came with some soak in the Pineapple Grove scent. And hot and cold eye pads for when you have like a tension headache or when you want to relax a little bit. I'm thinking these are going to go in the freezer, and when I have a migraine, I'm going to take these out and use them and see if that helps kind of relieve some of the tension that I tend to get when I have a migraine. And then the yarn is beautiful, as all of them are. And it's called, again, it's called Straighten Your Crown, pineapple themed. It's so beautiful. Oops, upside down. It's on her plush sock, which is her 8515 base. I love it. And I will happily knit a pair of socks out of this at some point in the future. Hopefully it will not stay in stash very long. The only other acquisition I have is my birthday present from my husband. Sean knows me very well and knows that I love yarn. And I have been wanting to try Teresa's yarn. She is the dyer behind Pretty Twisted Yarns. And he must have heard me say that I was interested in trying her yarn, because this is what I got for my birthday from him. It is a skein of yarn from Teresa. There's her logo, Pretty Twisted Yarns. I will have her linked down below. It is a sparkle yarn. It's called Ready or Not. And I love it. Her base is, it's a 75-15-10 merino nylon stellina, 437 yards to 100 grams. It's so squishy and so soft. It does not, it's going to be so much fun to knit with. So, special pair of socks or a one skein shawl from my hubby for my birthday. And that's all of my acquisitions. Life. I have been watching Virgin River. I am up to season 4, but I haven't finished season 4 yet. I also have been currently, and by currently I mean in like the last week or so, 2 weeks, completely obsessed with MasterChef Australia, which is on Tubi. My husband's Australian. I think that's part of it. I love a good cooking competition show, but I love it. I went all the way back to season 1. I need all the MasterChef Australia in my life. I did start reading a new to me book series. It is the Knit and Nibble series by Peggy Earhart. I finished book 2 and started book 3 last night. It's really fun. I love her writing style, and I love the main character, which is 2 thumbs up. Usually I read all of my books on Kindle Unlimited, because I have that subscription. So that's how I found the first book, is it was part of Kindle Unlimited. Books 2 and 3 were not part of Kindle Unlimited, and so I paid for them. That right there should tell you how good this series is, because I couldn't tell you the last time I bought a book. I either check them out from the library or read them on Kindle Unlimited. And these 2 books, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need to pay for those because it's just that good. I've already mentioned that school starts on Tuesday. I've talked a few times about our foreign exchange student, Daria. She arrives on, excuse me, she arrives on Wednesday the 24th. So we are getting kind of final prep ready for her to get here. But we're just super excited. We're ready for her to get here and to be able to take her on adventures. That's what we call it when you go to museums and historical sites or landmarks or whatever. We're ready for some adventures. We're ready for some fun. She is from North Macedonia. So we're thinking this is going to be pretty different here to what she's used to. And then she's just really excited to come to America for the year and go to school. And we're excited to host her. So the dogs get a new sister. They don't know it yet, but they're very excited. And that's really it. Team Chaos, casting on all the things, knitting, getting all the projects to mindless stage, and getting ready to go back to school. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I hope whatever you are knitting is bringing you lots and lots of joy, and that your air conditioner is working beautifully right now. I just pray that over all of you. Happy knitting, everybody. I'll see you next time.